Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. The live stream of version 2.4 was aired a while ago, and fans of Yunli and Jiaoqiu must be eagerly waiting for the day when this latest patch is released. How could they not? The character they have been waiting for has finally appeared, and the jade they have been saving can finally be used to pull the character they want. Granted, some players have decided to pull in this patch, but there are also those who are still confused as to which character they should invest their jade in. Do you want to go for Yunli and Jiaoqiu or save up for Feixiao and Lingsha? In this video, I will try to talk a little bit about the 4 new characters. And at the end of the video, I will also try to give a score to each character. But the score in this video does not show the tier list of the character. But the score I give here is based on whether the character is worth getting or not. So without further ado, let's get into it.
Do you have a character or weapon in the game that you really want but you don't have enough stellar jades? Here is a smarter way to recharge your favorite games like Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail. Look no further than Loot Bar. Loot Bar is the most reliable top-up platform, saving 20% for all orders compared with the official channel, and an extra 5% off for your first purchase. It's 100% safe as you will only be using your UID. We will buy a pack for 3000 stellar jades for $42, which otherwise would have cost $50, totally saving $7.5. We received the crystals which purchased in less than 3 minutes. All recharge will be done through the official channel with miHoYo, which allows you to enjoy all top-up offers. Ready to level up your gaming experience? Check the link in the description to get the amazing discount.
As we all know, patch 2.4 will be released soon on July 30th, which means that Yunli and Jiaoqiu will also be released on the Honkai Star Rail on that day. According to the information we got from 2.4 livestream a while ago, Yunli will appear in the first phase banner, while Jiaoqiu will appear in the second phase banner. Meanwhile, the characters Feixiao and Lingsha are rumored to appear in patch 2.5. Which is scheduled for release in early September, with the possibility of Feixiao being in the phase 1 and Lingsha in the phase 2. But since this has not been confirmed by Hoyoverse, this is of course still an estimate. Let's wait for more info. Okay, let's talk about Yunli first. Yunli is a 5-star physical type character with a path of destruction. To be honest, when I first saw Yunli's kit, I personally had the same thought as everyone else. In fact, at first glance, Yunli's kit is a bit similar to Clera's, so I understand why many people say that Yunli is a better version of Clera. But is it true? Let's try to talk about Yunli a little. If we look at Yunli's skills, we can see that Yunli can give physical damage to enemies and small areas around her while giving herself some healing. And in my opinion, DPS characters that have self-healing mechanics are interesting and have their own advantages. This clearly shows that Yunli has good survivability, because even in situations where she has trouble getting healing from other characters, she can still survive using only her skills. This is something that Clera doesn't have. Like Clera, Yunli can also reduce the damage she receives when using her ultimate. The difference is that Yunli gets parry status on herself and gives taunt status to the enemy. This means that enemies affected by this taunt status will have a great chance to attack Yunli, which she will then counter with the counter power she received when she used her ultimate earlier. However, remember that Yunli's ultimate has 2 versions, the strongest of which is when the enemy attacks Yunli after Yunli has used her ultimate buff. If you use the auto feature during battle, it is likely that Yunli's ultimate will not be optimal. This is one of the weaknesses of Yunli's set. In my opinion, Yunli's set is overall much better than what Clera currently has. Although Yunli has weaknesses from several sides, it cannot be denied that Yunli has some kits that are better than Clera. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people want this character. But the question is it worth pulling for this character? Do we have to invest in this character? As we talked earlier, Yunli is basically a counter damage character, which means that the more often the enemy attacks Yunli, the greater her contribution will be. So it is clear that Yunli will perform best when fighting aggressive type enemies, not passive type enemies. Even if we make Yunli with a speed build, she still won't be able to do her best if she fights the wrong enemy, because her passive ability won't work as it should. Then what content is suitable for Yunli? As we know, current endgame content such as MOC, Pure Fiction, and even Apocalyptic Shadow have buffs that change with the existing patches. But one thing is for sure, Yunli will be a very good character in Pure Fiction, because as we know, Pure Fiction requires a character with a specialization in follow-up attacks to get a high score, and Yunli can provide that. What about other content in the endgame? If we refer to the kit she has, it seems that she can still be used in other endgame content such as MOC and also Apocalyptic Shadow, although not as the best character. So are we obligated to take Yunli better? To answer that, it seems to depend on each player's account conditions. Yunli is a pretty universal character. Unlike some characters such as Firefly, which requires a special team, Yunli can be paired with various combinations of characters on the team. She can also be used as hyper carry characters on your team. So if you are currently in need of characters that meets these criteria, Yunli might be a good fit. Next, we will talk about Jiaoqiu. As a 5-star character with a fire-type nihility unit, Jiaoqiu's kit basically sells the status debuff given by his ability called Ashen Roast. Ashen Roast works as a debuff to increase the damage taken by the enemy when they are attacked. When Jiaoqiu was first released, it was rumored that he would be a dedicated support for Acheron because of his fast debuff applications. But after several patches later, Jiaoqiu has become a character that can also be a support in damage over time teams or as a standalone character that provides the main damage in the team. So in my opinion, Hoyoverse's decision to change Jiaoqiu's overall kit is to make him a more flexible character in the team, and he can even potentially become a DPS or sub-DPS in the future. What kind of team do you think will be able to support Jiaoqiu? It is definitely a team with characters that benefit from enemies' debuff status. And for the current patch, I think the more synergistic with Jiaoqiu's debuff support are Kafka and Acheron team. For some battle scenarios, these debuffs from Jiaoqiu look very easy to use and help the team finish the battle. In my opinion, for endgame content such as Pure Fiction and MOZ, which may later have buffs to increase damage over time, Jiaoqiu will really shine there. So is Jiaoqiu worth pulling? If you need a debuffer character with an AoE kit along with a pretty good damage, I think Jiaoqiu is worth. But be warned, if you are pulling with the hope of improving Acheron alone, I recommend saving your jade to just pull Eidolons to Acheron or her light counts. There is no need to force pull Jiaoqiu later in the latest patch, especially if you don't have other team options that can be alternative to Jiaoqiu's team. Feixiao, also known as Merlin's Claw, is one of the 7 arbiter generals of Jianzhou Alliance Cloud Knight. Feixiao is a 5-star character with the elements of Wind and Path of the Hand, which means she will specialize in fighting a small number of enemies. For Feixiao's kit, from the non-official information circulating, Feixiao's overall kit focuses on breaking weakness, follow-up attack, enhanced skill, and kits for marking the enemies. Although there is no more detailed information about her kit, Feixiao is already rumored to be a character that as strong as Acheron. Actually, when I first read the information about Feixiao's kit, I was not surprised that Feixiao was said to be as powerful as Acheron, because the kit itself is a complete package of damage givers in Honkai Star Rail. Follow-up attack, skill enhancement, weakness break, all wrapped up in one and given to Feixiao. Of course, for players looking for huge numbers of damage in the game, Feixiao is an easy pick. However, behind Feixiao's amazing kit, there is something that I think slightly diminishes the value of Feixiao itself, and that is truly single target damage oriented. Yes, I know, that is not completely wrong since Feixiao is a single target nuker. However, I think Feixiao can still be used in endgame content such as MOC and Apocalyptic Shadow, which can focus on single target enemies. But for content with a bunch of enemies like Pure Fiction, it's totally a wrong place for her. Feixiao as a DPS character has flexibility in team because she can now be paired with the most support in Honkai Star Rail. However, in my opinion, Feixiao will synergize with supports that can boost break effects and speed, such as Runmei, Asta, and Gallagher. In conclusion, if you need another strong DPS character in your team, especially for killing the boss faster, maybe Feixiao is your answer. Lingsha is a 5-star fire elemental character who has the abundance path, whose main focus of her kit is healing, of course. And from the information circulating, Lingsha has emergency healing like Luocha, and even some people say that Lingsha's healing ability is stronger than Luocha's. Lingsha's own healing is measured by the break effect. Although it's too early to assume all of Lingsha's kit, the information we do have says that Lingsha will have a minion similar to Topaz's Nambi. Lingsha's minion is in the form of a rabbit and it's part of her skill. It is also rumored that the rabbit will have its own speed and turn in battle. For me, Lingsha's emergency healing ability is appealing the most because there will be times when you are short on skill points when using other healers on the team. If you are in a situation where our DPS is low on HP, there are no skill points, it is likely that our DPS will be gone first. But with Lingsha's emergency heal ability, it feels like we don't have to worry too much about this scenario because there's still a 50-50 chance that Lingsha's emergency heal will be activated and our DPS will be saved. Also, Lingsha's healing comes from her rabbit, and it has its own speed in the action bar. We can speed up the rabbit's turn by using her skills. But for some scenarios, it feels like the 20% speed up the rabbit gets when we use skills is not too significant, and maybe we will redirect the skill points to other things. Unlike some other healers that can be used in multiple scenarios, Lingsha is very specialized healer for some teams. And for the team composition that is best suited for Lingsha is a team that focuses on weakness breaks, or what is best known as the Super Break team. If you are a fan of the Super Break team, then don't hesitate to pull the Lingsha banner, because Lingsha will be able to improve your team's performance, especially for the Super Break team. But if you feel that the performance of Gallagher is more than enough, then you can skip for the Lingsha banner in the future. Okay, we are finally getting to the part we have all been waiting for, the scoring each characters. For Yunli, I think the counter mechanic, taunt abilities, and self-healing from Yunli's kits is her good part. But the problem is there is no other specialization besides her counter mechanic. And for the current patch, where weakness break and enemy toughness reduction are meta, it seems like Yunli is a little less selling. What are the plans of Feixiao? Do they want to make a meta counter in the future? Let's wait and see. But for now, I can rate the need to pull on Yunli's banner as 7.5 out of 10. Next up is Jiaoqiu. The main focus of Jiaoqiu is to give the Asian Roast status debuff to the enemy, which can help increase the damage given to the enemy. At first glance, Jiaoqiu can still be used in Team Acheron later, but putting him in Acheron's well-built team does not have a big enough impact. Jiaoqiu's presence in the team is just like sweetener for me, or I might say it's just a compliment. Based on the opinion of some people, Jiaoqiu can also be paired with a damage over time team, even though the team currently has qualified supports, such as Kafka and also Black Swan. Although I recognize that Jiaoqiu's overall kit is quite good, in my personal opinion, Jiaoqiu doesn't have a kit that is unique enough to distinguish his kit from other characters. So in my opinion, Jiaoqiu gets a score of 7 out of 10. Not that he is bad, but for me personally, who doesn't really need a character like him, I think I will just skip him and go for Acheron Eidolons 2 instead. Next is Feixiao. Personally, I think Feixiao looks so interesting. She has weakness break, skill enhancement, and follow-up attack. Feixiao is also predicted to be the best DPS along with Acheron in this patch 2.x. In fact, she has the potential to become strong DPS in the future. But for me, there is one weakness that Feixiao has, which is that Feixiao is not effective against a large number of enemies. And she cannot really choose the targets to attack, because if we do, we will not get the bonus damage that she has on her talent. As a result, Feixiao feels like the best at boss killing unit, but let's hope her kit will be changed in the future. Based on that reason, I give her a solid 8 out of 10. And last thing is Lingsha. This character has the potential to be a super strong healer in Honkai Star Rail because of her emergency healing ability, remove debuffs, and she also can be a sub DPS too, like Gallagher. And according to reliable sources, her healing is even greater than Luocha's. Lingsha's healing comes from the rabbits she summons to the battlefield, and these rabbits have their own speed in the action bar. This means that the rabbit can heal our team by itself. If you are fans of Super Break Team, then it's not an option to not pull Lingsha in the future. So I will only give it an 8 out of 10 for now. Okay guys, that's all for now. What do you guys think? Please feel free to put your comments on down below. And don't forget to check out my another video. Thanks for watching, stay safe, stay healthy, and see you in the next video.